Warning: the Atari Creep YouTube channel is intended for a mature audience. Regardless of the subject matter, this video may contain strong language, simulated violence, and lots of psychological nudity. Viewer discretion is advised. What's up, Creepers and Geekers? Chris, the Atari Creep. How is everyone doing today, guys? It's finally here, the long-awaited, the much-avoided by me interview with Tommy Tallarico. To be honest with you, what took so long was my cocksucking anxieties. I thought it was going to be a lot bigger of a production than it really was, and I didn't pursue it because I thought I was going to have to learn all kinds of new stuffs, and I'm not very good at that. So, turns out you just Skype and record it, download it, and put it into an editor. Amen. So that's what we're going to do. I have about 10 questions here, a bunch of notes. Hopefully some will come off my brain pan on the fly, but I'm not a journalist, guys. I'm not a journalist. I'm just a fat fuck with a YouTube channel when I talk about old plastic dusty things. So hopefully we all get something out of it. At least I know I'm going to. I hope you do. And I'll catch you on the flip side of this, the Atari Creep. How's everyone doing today? Look who I finally have in my midst. The one, the only, Tommy Tallarico. What's going on, buddy?
Thanks for having you. We've been trying to hook this up for about, I don't know, a month or two now, haven't we?
I've been pretty lazy on the whole thing. I don't know about this technology stuff, so
you do pretty good.
I thought it was going to be this big production.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Just me and you talking. That's all we need.
Yeah. So how you holding out there on the other side of the country?
Yeah, surviving the zombie apocalypse as you do, and figuring it all out.
Right on. So as everyone should know, I'm not much of a journalist.
Yeah.
I do have a handful of questions that I came up with.
Sure.
Not from me personally, but there are actually a couple of good ones here I got from people who I know haven't touched a console in a while.
Right. Okay.
And I do have a handful of ones directly from people who watch I call it a show, I guess. If we don't get to them, in my community thread there's a whole bunch of them. If you want to just take the time to hit over there, and if we don't touch on some of these, maybe touch on them there at your leisure or whatever. But we had a little bit of a. There we go. There we go.
Yeah.
I'm here. Wow, connection's horrible.
Okay.
All right. So first question I want to ask you.
Yeah.
More times than not, when you think of a console or something like that, it's the console that usually start off with the loss, and it's the games where you jump into the revenue. Is that correct?
Yeah. That's how most consoles have worked over the last 30 years or so.
Right.
We're a little different, but that's how typically the industry works. Yeah.
And that's the question. Where are you folks banking on that? Your revenue stream? Where's your
Yeah, I know. It's a great question because, the way we set everything up, the way, we set up with developers, the way we set up the hardware, the software, as you know, it's a very different model than what we're doing. We're not trying to sell a $300 or $400 machine and charge $50, $60, $70 for software, right? And we're not trying to make AAA games that would even cost $60 or $70. So we've really had to, sit down and myself and folks like David Perry, a bunch of industry veterans, knowing the ins and outs, of all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We wanted to create a whole different system so that, independent developers, for example, wouldn't be relying on trying to find their money themselves. Okay. Or, as you know, the way the industry works is that, you have these big third-party publishers, whether it's EA, Ubisoft, Activision,
mm-hmm.
And so typically a hardware manufacturer, has to they do their own first-party stuff, but they really have to get all these companies, these third-party publishers very excited. Oh, can Square make a Final Fantasy thing? Can Rockstar make this for us? And you're really reliant on those other folks as opposed to, the third-party software. So we didn't want to play that game because then, excuse me, I swear it's not COVID. I got here. Hold on. I got to get some water.
Yeah.
My shill mug here. So anyway, so so what? Yeah, baby. Here's another one. Okay. So yeah, I mean, I got, so we got, oh yeah. What?
No, keep going.
What do you got there? What do you got there? Oh yeah, here we'll be twins.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we just wanted to do, I feel that some of the best ideas are coming from like independent developers these days. It was back in the old days, like back when I first got in the industry 30 years ago, they were small teams and we were coming up with ideas. Like a game like Earthworm Jim could have never been made if like a third party publisher like made us do a game design document and had a budget and a blah, 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 blah. It's just like 10 guys in a room trying to make each other laugh, right? And so and that's when I think the most creativity is coming from those small developers. Right. So we said, you know what, we want to create a system that, so you got your mobile, which is like, okay, you can put free games, you can play for free, but they're always trying to suck money from you, right? And then you have like the big platforms that, the AAA games are $60, $70, up to $100 now. And then you have loot boxes, and then they're trying to get DLC and to buy more levels and this and that. And it's just like, man, remember when we were growing up, Chris? It was like you bought a freaking game, you liked it or you disliked it, and you didn't have to, so it's like we wanted to get back to that simplicity of let me just buy a game and not have to worry about seeing ads or microtransactions or buying different levels and this and that. So in order to create that simplicity and go back to that time, and again, we don't have billions of dollars to compete with Sony and Microsoft and Nintendo, so we don't want to play that game. I'm not stupid. I'm not sitting here drinking my own Kool-Aid. Let the big boys and girls do all that. Right. We want to create our own ecosystem, and appeal to independent developers who I think have a bunch of creative stuff, creative ideas, and make it affordable for everybody. So in order to do this, having the price points be low, and people will say, because a lot of people bag on us all the time. A lot of the hardcore elites will bag on us to say, oh my God, look at those graphics. Look at the blah, 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 blah. It looks like a bunch of mobile games and this and that. And it's like, but guys and gals, excuse me, Jesus, people are going to think I have.
Don't die on me.
But the thing is that, when people say that kind of stuff, we're not trying to sell our games for $30, $40, $50. Why are you going to compare our games with $60 games?
Right.
$40 games, or even with $20 games. That's not what we're going for, right? Mm-hmm. We're creating this kind of hybrid thing that kind of doesn't really exist. Now, it existed in some form back in the day, like Xbox Live Arcade, if you remember that. Some of the Sony stuff where they were, games like Journey and Flow, where they were selling games for $9.99, $12.99, $15.99. So we're kind of more in that area. And of course, on the Switch, there's a bunch of, kind of this kind of content that I'm talking about that's $9.99 and less. But the issue with that content is that it's very much targeted to hardcore gamers. Now, when I say that, I say when the hardcores will say to me, well, there's casual games that already are on the Switch. There's already casual co-op. There's Overcooked. There's Castle Crashers, and even games like Animal Crossing. Those are casual games. And that's true. Those are casual games for hardcore gamers.
Yeah.
Right? So to them, those are casual games. And so I think it's hard sometimes for folks to kind of step outside their own world and their own bubble in their own skin. See, guys like me and you, we understand it more because when we were growing up, that's the way it used to be.
Right.
But people in their 20s and 30s, you're noticing that, a lot of the people that are having the problems with us, they kind of grew up in the 90s and the late 80s and the 90s, so they never got to experience what we got to experience. And quite frankly, what we are missing and what we know was a way that the industry used to be. And wouldn't it be great if we had it like that again? And we saw glimpses of that with the Nintendo Wii.
Right.
We saw glimpses of that where you and your mom, did you guys ever play bowling together on the Wii?
No. The Wii was when I was out in Arizona and she was still here.
Okay. You didn't have, but if you had one, you probably would have played with it, right?
Yeah, she would have loved that.
Yeah, and so that's the whole concept behind Amico is, you know what? Let's create something where we can be more inclusive, where parents and people who normally don't play video games, you're passionate about video games, right? But maybe you have a friend, wife, girlfriend, parents, just whatever, some other friends who just don't like video games at all. They're like, and you ask yourself, why don't they like those video games? And in all the research that we've done, and not only that we've done, but that exists out there before we came along, you ask people, normal, average people on the street, why don't you play video games? And they'll tell you they're too complicated, they're too violent, they're too expensive, they're too much of a time suck, right? And so, and I think anyone, like any normal person, would probably agree with that, again, who's not in that hardcore gamer world. So that's what we're trying to do, Chris. We're trying to create an ecosystem here that, the games are lower in price because the budgets are a lot lower in price. And you've heard me say this, I think, a number of times, but I'll say it again for your viewers.
Okay.
Is that my two most important things are trust. That's one. So I want consumers to trust in television. So that's why we don't want a lot of, violent stuff. And I want them to trust that if I buy a game, it's going to be the second thing, which is value. Trust and value. See, most video game companies, what's their number one important thing? Money.
Yeah.
It's profit. So, that's, I think, something that I wish more people would appreciate is to say, you know what? We don't put cash first.
Right.
Because that stuff will follow. If we're successful, if we do everything, if we can provide value and trust to customers, then the success will follow after that. But let's not focus on that money. Let's focus on providing something that we know a lot of people are looking for and wish they had. So if we can make a little bit margin on the hardware and a little bit margin on the software, well, and if we can get this to the masses, the great thing is that we don't have the overhead that a PlayStation or a Nintendo has, right? We don't have thousands of people around the world. We're a small operation. We're about 30 full-time employees now, all with benefits, working in the office. We're going to probably expand that to about 80 to 100 people. So we're going to triple, over the next year or so as the thing launches and customer support and, you get all these, other folks are going to, QA, quality assurance, as we start to build, we're going to get a lot bigger, excuse me. But 100 people is still not thousands, which the other companies. So that's the thing that folks, I think, need to understand is that we've laid out a heck of a plan. We're going to stay in our own lane. We're not going to try to do anything that we're not capable of. Let's try to keep it simple. And again, we've run spreadsheets till the cows come home that we know what we need to do in order to stay profitable, stay afloat, and to give people software, new games every couple of weeks and this and that. So again, if people think we're like just kind of guessing and, keep our fingers crossed and we haven't thought this through, again, they're high, because you don't get investors spending millions of dollars. Chris, I could show you spreadsheets that are this on paper that are this thick. It's unbelievable the amount of different, things. And that's because of our CFO, Nick, one of the smartest numbers guys I've ever met. And this is what he does, right? Chief financial officer, and he works with all the departments and everything. It's a force of nature that this thing is, in existence, because all of the right people, when you have the right team around you, and no one's they're gonna do everything they can, So that's a little bit kind of behind the scenes. It's a great question because not a lot of people ask it, but we're different in so many different ways from the number of people and our thinking, that when people try to look at us and the cost of our games and the cost of our system and when they try to look at us and compare us to what they've known for the last 20 years.
The problem with the Amico is everyone's trying to compare it to something that shouldn't be compared with.
Yeah, you look at us as our own unique thing, right? Yeah. Our own completely new and unique thing. Wouldn't you want to pay $9.99 or less for games?
Heck yeah.
Instead of $50-$60, And again, the games, we're not spending $50 million making these games. Let's get some fun stuff. A lot of the fun, a lot of the hyper casual stuff. And again, I love games like Overcooked, right? But you can't sit my mom or even my wife. I said, come on, let's play Overcooked. And she's like, she goes, I don't want to do the dishes and cook. Like that's, I do that crap already. Like, why would I want to do it? I'm like, oh, that's a good point. And she's like, but the other thing I don't like about it, and again, I love Overcooked, so I'm not trying to bag on the game. I love it, and I love the developer's so great, so talented. But my wife sits down and tries to play it with me, and she's like, it's always this countdown timer. I'm always feeling stressed because it's like the time's running out, and I'm trying to rush. It's like, I don't want to rush. I rush around in my daily life all the time. I'd rather just sit back and I'm a fish and I got to eat smaller fish.
Yep.
And there's no time limit and there's no stress. The shark comes out and my heart beats a little bit, but for the most part, and that's kind of what we're building within our games. And again, we have games that are not like that. You look at Moon Patrol and Night Stalker and some of those games. Those are going to be games more like For Me and You, that wives or girlfriends or moms won't play. Mm-hmm. And that's the beauty. People have to understand and see that. We have games that little kids love. We have games that old guys like me and you love. We have games that parents love and grandparents love. So you gotta look at it like the whole picture of what we're building. And it's very different. I'm sorry, but there's not games that grandparents love on the Switch. No. And there might be, but they're super hard to find. There's not educational games that mom or dad and a 5-year-old kid can sit down and play on the Switch. Right?
Yeah.
So how can you compare, and how can people say that, what we're doing the Switch already does? No, it doesn't. Right. Show me the 5-year-old educational game where a mom and a kid or two kids or a group of friends can all learn stuff on the Switch and have a fun time communicating and laughing and playing and stuff like that. So, and again, I'm not trying to downplay it. People always say, you're no, look, I love Nintendo. I love the Switch. I'm just trying to get people to understand what we're doing doing is not what this Switch is doing, and that's fine, and it's okay that there's other things out there, right? Why are people so upset?
I
Because
know.
to do something that's unique. We're trying to like push up these developers. We're paying developers, hundreds of people, employing them all over the world. Our message to everyone is, hey, wouldn't it be great if a whole bunch of people came and appreciated and played video games together? That's what my video games live show was about. This
Yeah.
isn't my rodeo. 18 years I've been bringing people who don't play video games out to a video game concert, and they walk away with this mass appreciation. And they go, wow, I get it now. That music was so beautiful. Those characters are so deep. The graphics, the storyline. Now I know why my kids are so much into this thing. Thank you so much for creating this show.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to play that game I saw up there, on screen or whatever. And then they write me back a week later going, yeah, this stuff isn't for me. But what I'm saying though, like, that's our message. Why would people hate that message? You have to scratch your head,
Yeah, I don't even try to figure that out. I don't.
You've seen a couple of videos you've done, and you've tried to figure it out, and you just can't.
No, there's no point in doing it anyway. So, but a couple of other questions here, and these are actually from people who I know for a fact, don't really play too many games.
Okay.
One kind, but concerning, it's funny. I did that video yesterday about manufacturing.
Yeah.
Few people are actually worried about, especially in today's climate, how these are going to be manufactured. Is it a reputable place? Can folks be confident that it's not going to be a shady operation, much like China is kind of known for, if you know what I mean?
Sure.
Also, in conjunction with that, how the distribution is going to work once things do hit stateside.
Mm-hmm. So the way distribution works is that you typically have like a third party, and they do everything. They'll do PlayStation, Nintendo. They do different different people. They're called suppliers, right? Mm-hmm. And so they warehouse the project, and they get it shipped to Walmart, or they get it shipped to the. So that's just a
common everyday whatever.
It's a common thing that every day. And so we did a deal with there's like three big ones. Well, maybe four. There's like four, and they handle everything, whether it's Costco or Walmart, Best Buy, whatever. And even Amazon has distributors as well that fill that thing, because there's a lot of different ways people can sell on Amazon. You could do a direct deal with Amazon, but if you do that, again, you need, when you're talking the numbers and the kind of things that we have, there's certain suppliers that get involved with that, and with purchase orders and things. So lots of different ways to do Amazon. So from that standpoint, look, we're using the people that everybody else is already using. So that's how that goes. They take a percentage of the profits. It's all part of the the thing. So that's easy. That's an easy one. In regards to the manufacturer, this was something that was very, very important to us.
Okay.
And so what we did, and we were in China in December, myself, my CFO Nick, two other people from our team, from our engineering team, and we went through the plant. So we picked a company that, because we talked to a lot of different companies, and this particular company, what I can tell you about them is that, because again, I'm not a dummy. This isn't a Kickstarter. It's not a fly by night operation. So Chris, what if I told you that the company that we've picked that is doing this for us, what if I told you that they had done all of the internal boards for all of the controllers for the PlayStation 2, 3, PlayStation 4, and they're working on PlayStation 5. Right. Now, what if I also told you that this same company and manufacturer also did the internal boards for the Nintendo Wii?
Oh, okay.
Would you be impressed?
I would be impressed. I would be
Okay, well,
impressed, and I would believe you because I know how, at least in the guitar world, how that also works. The same factory will make Epiphones, Ibanez, Squires, and
right.
Court. So I
You
totally
got the
get how that.
You got the Mexican Squire, or you got the, all the different wood and all that stuff. Yeah. So we picked we picked people, excuse me. We picked people who have been down this road before. But the other important thing is this, and I want to talk a little bit about this.
Okay.
Is that the person who is head of the operations is a woman, which is kind of a little rare in China, that there's a female running this very successful factory. But the other thing that's interesting about her is that she's and again, this is kind of like a unicorn in China, but from a religious standpoint, she's actually a very devout Christian.
Oh, no
which is very again, it's very, very unique. And it's not to say that, religion is this and that, but she has, the reason I mention that is because a lot of places in China, they are, kind of, they don't care maybe about their workers as much as maybe, people here, like in unions in America, we have unions and things like that. And they don't, a lot of that stuff doesn't exist over there, right? So sometimes, manufacturing over there, sometimes people get taken advantage of, right?
Yeah.
I think that's a fair comment to say. Being the person that she is, she feels and treats all of her employees like they're her own family. Okay. And that's why we went over there, and we were there for about a week. And they took us through the tours, and and we met the people on the lines, and we talked to them. We hung out with them. It wasn't just like, oh, let's do a meeting and here's a tour. We spent time with these people, because it was important to me that, you want to be able to trust the people who are doing this job for you. So it's a great question. And, I know that we have it covered. Okay. But people out there, that's a great question, because it's like, well, how do we know this isn't just some weird company you just found online or something, or who's supplying crap through Alibaba or something? No, we spent a lot of time.
That'll lead really well into my next question. It's more about point of sales. I had one individual say, all right, so it's a company coming back, so to speak. And I'll put that in quotations, so I understand Intellivision has lived, I'll throw that in there, for many years. But it's a new venture, so to speak.
It is.
And what this individual was worried about was the point of sales. You use fly by night. I don't know if I want to use that. And his concern is confidence in giving his credit information to purchase games.
So that's another. Appreciate the question. Yeah. But again, people are treating us like we're some schmucks on the street who've never done this. We have people who work for us, who worked on the original Xbox console, who helped to design the infrastructure of the PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 2, who helped create the back end, some of the back end stuff from the Nintendo Wii. We have these people on our team, right? And so again, it's a great question. I'm trying to, because people always say, oh, he can't take criticism. No, I'm answering the question, right? Yeah. And so the thing is, again, maybe some fly-by-night Kickstarter company would just like, oh, we'll take our credit card and this and that. Of course not. There's third parties out there that do this for a living. We're not going to store credit card information. We're not stupid. And by the way, why would we want to reinvent something from scratch, from the ground up, when there's already off-the-shelf solutions that every single major, major corporation and video game company in the world already uses? So again, if I were to tell you, Chris, that we were using the same exact back-end system that EA, Roblox, Activision, whatever, if those type of companies, use, and I just mentioned the game companies, but it's many different corporations, would that make you feel secure? answer is probably yes,
Of
and
course.
that's what we're doing. We're not building anything from the ground up. That'd be insane. We'd need tens of millions of dollars in 10 years. Why reinvent the wheel? Again, you just pay like a 2.5% to 3% fee every time. So every time, let's say a game is $9.99. Boom, they take 3, 4, 5% off the top of that, depending a lot of different things in there, but it's anywhere from 3 to 5%, right? So that's all built into our our system. Yeah, let the smart people who already invented it. Let's just pay them.
Yeah, no kidding. Okay, now I put this down as a joke, ball tour. Are you gonna have kind of like a kiosk setup for people to actually try this? It is a new idea.
Yeah.
You keep mentioning that.
Yeah.
So this one's coming from me. Is there going to be a place that I can actually bring some? Obviously my living room because I'll have one early, but they can walk into say a Walmart or a Target or
Walmart doesn't do those types of things. Walmart doesn't do very. I'm pretty sure they don't, but Costco does.
Okay.
GameStop will.
Right.
Best Buy will. There's certain retailers that will allow us to and by the way, you pay for that. You don't get you don't get it for free. It costs us. But that's fine. We're that's part of our marketing budget is getting this in the people's hands, and we learn that because again, let me say again. That the senior executive vice president of Nintendo, Perrin Kaplan and her team, who was at Nintendo for 18 years, who helped to launch the Wii. Right. She's launched the Wii. She was the head of marketing. She knows the steps, and that was a very different machine at the time. And so she knows the little tricks and hints and the path to success. That's why I've been friends with Perrin back, when she was working at, Nintendo. I've known her for maybe 25 years, 20 years. And about 25 years. Yeah. And, so I knew when I, ventured out to do this, it's like, okay, we got to get Perrin and her team to help guide us and help be a part of what we're doing. Same thing with the former president of Nintendo, who's one of our big advisors. Right. And so, and then, our head of marketing, Kara Acker, who you saw in that last video we did, she came from Mattel, Chris. And you know what she did at Mattel? She was the head of the Disney products. So if anyone out there listening to my voice ever bought a Frozen toy, you can blame Kara. So these are the types of people that we have, because people see me as the face of the company, and that's fine because I'm the one out there. I'm the only one crazy enough on a Saturday night to be doing this kind of stuff, right? But people need to understand, and again, we say it all the time, but that the elitists kind of just they have their blinders on. They want to ignore all this stuff. But again, look at the team we've put together.
Yeah.
Look at the team. If you go on that fig.co site, we actually list a lot of it's a handful. It's maybe about a third of our company is listed there. You can see pictures of them, what they do, and what they've worked on. And you're reading every one of these people going like, holy crap. Like, this isn't, this is like major folks. And that's just a little taste of it. That was the first time. And no one's talked about that, right? No. People want to say, oh, it's crowdfunded. No, it's not. It's a pre-order. No. But Fig is a crowdfunding site. So what? It's still a pre-order.
It's a vehicle.
Yeah, it's a vehicle that allowed us to get in front of 300 or 400,000 people who didn't know about us. This is somehow a bad thing.
And to work in a dump truck.
And by the way, what was the goal of this crowdfunding campaign? It was $1.
Yeah, I saw that. I'm like, case closed.
By the way, if it was zero. If we could have done zero, we would have put zero in there, but you can't. Right. You had to put in something. So, you couldn't put in zero. So we put in $1. It's like, just because that's the way their back end system worked.
And I didn't think that was too difficult to figure out.
Well, you figured it out.
No, I'm not the brightest bulb in the batch, believe me.
Come on now.
Oh my God. So, we were talking about earlier us buying games back in the day. It was just one game and pop in and have a good time with it.
Yeah.
I was actually going to save this one for later, but I think I'm going to read it verbatim.
Okay.
This is from a viewer. I hate saying shit like that. And he says, I'm wondering, with no DLC, could it have any negative consequences? Developers may try to push for premium editions of their games, be unable to create sequels that are only incremental upgrades. Does any of that make sense?
So a few things. When they say the developers pushing their games,
right?
Every game that we do for Intellivision is our game. And when I say our, I'm not just meaning Intellivision. I mean Intellivision plus the developer.
Okay,
it's a partnership and it's our game, right? And so the DLC, and by the way, if there's like a major crash bug or something that happens, then we'll do a, when I say DLC, because a lot of people are taking that out of context as well too. When I mean DLC, I'm talking about the stuff where you buy a game for like $50 and then like a couple months later it's like, oh, do you want this pack for $9.99 or do you want another adventure for $9? That's the kind of stuff that I'm, that we're not doing. But if there's like a patch or something, yeah, we're going to do a patch. In fact, we'll do it in the background and you won't even know, right? You won't even know what happened. But I think the heart of the question though, which is a great question, is that, okay, I'm going to give you a couple of real life examples that I've lived through and experienced. So I was on the original Tony Hawk Pro Skater team. Okay. And, Activision was and I was also on, helping the Guitar Hero, like the original Guitar Hero guys too, before Activision, back when they were Red Octane. You open up Guitar Hero 1, you'll see my name there, Guitar Hero 2, and then Guitar Hero Aerosmith. So the first 3 Guitar Hero games. And the same thing happens where, and let's take Tony Hawk though, I think Tony Hawk's a better example, where we worked on the game. No one really bothered us. We were kind of like in our own little worlds creating this game. It's like, yeah, whatever, it's a skateboarding game. And we would all have like super fun with it. We're like, oh my God, this is so cool. But we're like, who's this Tony Hawk guy? I don't know. But we're just having fun, right? And then all of a sudden the thing blows up, sells tens of millions of units. And then all of a sudden everybody comes in. Now all of a sudden there's 20 producers on the game. Now people cared. They didn't give a crap when it was just 10 guys in a room doing whatever, And basically it's like, and then when the suits come in and it's like, okay, now we got to add this many modes. And now we got to add this. And now we got to add this extra thing. Now we got to put it online. Now we got to create a skateboard that you can balance on and blah, blah, blah. And everybody, and now let's start to do all this, and it's like, man, just give them 10 more levels and maybe add like one other, some more tricks and like maybe one other mode or something. Right. And so that's kind of our approach to everything. So take a game like skiing, for example, right? So that game, which you've seen, right? So that's going to be a free game, premium game that comes with the system that everyone's going to get for free, right? People are going to play that. People are going to love it. There's going to be all these, we have this ski cross mode where 4 players at a time can race down the hill. Really fun. And we have 10 different mountains or 10 different tracks or whatever, Right. What do they call them in skiing? Like
courses?
What is it called? Courses. Thank you. Yeah, I'm leaving my brain here.
Once in my life, so.
Right. So we have 10 different courses, right? And there's different mountain styles and stuff. You saw that one with the icicles and the where you're skating on the ice and almost and stuff. So we have a lot of different things. So what I'd rather do is in a year from now, or maybe it's 6 months from now, or 6 months to a year, I'd rather come out with skiing 2 with 10 more courses. and maybe more, a little bit of this or a little bit of that, right? So instead of trying to sell somebody, oh, buy this upgrade for $1.99, buy this course. No, let's keep what was popular. Let's keep what was successful.
Mm-hmm.
And then just do it differently. The same thing with Moon Patrol, right? So you'll notice that I called the game Moon Patrol the Milky Way Chronicles.
Yep.
So what happens is you're going to start on a moon on Pluto. Baby, I'm bringing Pluto back. Pluto's coming back as a planet. I don't care.
They want to correct you.
They dismissed it, and then I heard they're trying to get it back now. I'm like, screw that. Screw science. Pluto's back. Pluto was always our little planet, our farthest friend when we were growing up. I'm bringing that shit back. Pluto's back. Okay, so we start with we're on a moon on Pluto, and you go all the way through every single planet in our solar system, right? And then at the end of it, I don't want to give away the surprise, but I've kind of written this whole thing of what happens, and then there's something that happens at the end when you get to the sun and you hit a black hole, let's say, and now it sets up for the next game.
To be continued.
To be continued, right? And now we can go to a different galaxy, the Andromeda experience. And now you can really get crazy, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, that's our whole thing is we want to create these little, instead of saying, okay, let's create a $10 million Moon Patrol game and have it be a 100-hour experience. Think of it as like, look, we're creating these things. It's cheaper, and there's slices of it.
Right.
But let's put in that couch co-op. Let's put in that versus as well, so that we can all have fun with it. And because that's where your replay value is going to be, right?
Exactly. No, that's cool. What about after Amico? How many years do you think it'll run, and what are you thinking about afterwards?
So, excuse me. Man, it's so dry up here. I didn't have the air conditioning on all day, so the air is dry up here. I'm on like a third floor, so the heat. It was hot out here today, California. The heat risen, and I wasn't up here today. So I mean, we would like to see a second. I don't want to call it Amico 2. Maybe we do. I don't know, but yeah, a typical life cycle for hardware for a game console is typically 7 years.
7 years.
That's the cycle. Now, because graphics aren't our most important thing, so you say, well, why is it about 7 years? And the reason is that's pretty much where the big graphical upgrades can come.
Yeah.
Right? But we don't have to worry about that. So our feeling is that I think we can extend that 7-year cycle, right? To maybe to 8 or 9 years. But yeah, let's do Amico. Let's build off our success. And again, I wouldn't try to go, oh, let's now all of a sudden do photorealistic graphics and have dual thumbsticks.
Right.
No, let's build, when we're successful, it's going to be for a very specific reason.
Mm-hmm.
Because we did something different from Nintendo. Because we did something different from mobile. Because we did something different from Google Stadia or Oculus Quest or the PlayStation or the Xbox, right? And so we would just stay in our lane. Let's stay in our lane. So that the idea is to always keep it going. That would be the dream.
The nature of the thing, it has an extended shelf life, so to speak. Then.
Yeah, and we want to get a lot into like peripheral stuff too. Like some of the I love like the Wii Fit. That was a really cool add-on device. And
still used in this house.
What's that?
It's still being used in this house.
Oh, really? Yeah, there you go.
Especially since the lockdown.
And so I'd like to start exploring a lot of different things like that. Right. That instead of just like a board, what if you were to do like a step machine or a pedal machine or something like that? can we get into different things or different wearables and stuff like that? So these are kind of the things that we're starting to think about now.
Okay.
For like 2 years from now, 2-3 years. But I think there's a whole world out there. If we can accomplish what we're all set out to accomplish here, I think we're going to start to get ideas, from other places too. Shit we never even thought of,
Yeah.
So that's the dream.
Now, I know you answered this one last night on Rich's. By the way, that was a fun interview to watch. I only got 2/3 of it, then I had to bail out to go to bed. But I know the answer to this. But I'm going to ask you that.
By the way, the second half was the best part. The last hour was the best part. Go back and
go back.
Yeah.
But this guy asked, the Amico needs a killer app. First of all, do you agree? And what do you think it's going to be? Now, I know what your answer was.
Yeah, I mean, our killer app is couch co-op.
Yeah. Okay. Yep.
Our killer app is that every single thing on the system can be played by everyone. I think that's the killer app. Now that being said, yes, there is a game, the 6th pack-in game, that we haven't announced. And again, when you say killer app, people immediately are going to go to, oh, is it like Halo? Is it God of War? Is it, Mario? Is it Zelda? No, it's not stuff like that. Let's just call it a very simple, easy, fun, hilarious party game where people are literally crying, laughing the first time they play it. It's that hilarious. It's one of those games, and this is a game that I helped to design along with the developer, and it's going to be a huge hit. Like Ellen's game, the heads up thing. It's one of like the most downloaded.
Yeah.
It's like one of the most downloaded games ever, or whatever. It wins all these Webby awards and all this stuff.
Yeah.
Like, it's a game that like you get so instantly like that. But what we're doing with ours is it actually uses the touch screen and the microphone and audio, and it's really unique. It's really cool. So I think that from a family and party game standpoint, I think that's our killer app. I think when people see that game, if they go over a friend's house and they play that game, they're going to go like, they're going to want to, oh my God, we have to buy one of these.
Nice. That's awesome.
I do overall though, our real killer app is simple, affordable, family entertainment co-op.
Right on. Right now, you did mention, I think last night, that you're gonna announce what that exactly is soon.
No, probably not soon.
Oh, did I misheard something?
Not soon. You see, I don't want to say anything because then if it changes, people call me an asshole. But or I'm lying. But no, I'm hoping like end of July and August. We'd probably, because we want to save stuff as we get closer and closer to the launch. You want to save these certain things. Now, here's what I'll tell you is coming soon, though, is a big announcement about one of our huge partners. We're going to be doing a press release on one of our big AAA amazing partners. And Chris, we got about 4 or 5 huge worldwide companies. People are going to flip, it's going to go from, oh, what is this? Some weird little thing to, holy crap, they're on board and they're on board and they're on board. People are going to be forced to take us more seriously when they see some of the licenses that and partners that we're bringing on board. Yeah,
that's fantastic. Somebody had asked about Activision, and I heard you talking last night that you had with Pitfall and River Raid.
Yeah.
Those the only 2 you're working on with them, or is that something you can speak on?
We're not working with them at all on it. It's the 2 that I want to get.
Oh, okay.
David Crane's a good buddy of mine.
Okay.
And so me and David Crane have been talking about this for over 2 years where, I wanted to hire David and to create the next Pitfall, but again, keep it 2D.
Right.
Keep it like the original game, but just upgrade the graphics, upgrade the audio, and just do that. Okay. And he loved he's all in. Sure. And then Activision was kind of like, yeah, you know what? You don't have any installed base. So, come back to us after it launches and let's talk then. Okay, that's fair enough.
Yeah, that's fair.
Fine. That's what we're going to do. We're going to impress them, and then we're going to go back to them and say, hey, what do you think of us now, baby?
Now, going back to the video, what did I title it? Wouldn't that be something? Is there anything you could squeak out about ET or any of that?
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you, that's funny. I know you have such a
It's a soft spot.
You have a connection with ET because it because it brings you back to your childhood like that. Boom, you're there, right? So I'm going to extend this to you.
Okay.
Okay, here's where I'm going to extend to you. If we end up making that game, I want to have you help us to produce it or test it or do that.
Me personally?
Personally, I want to bring you in as part of the team and to get you because you have such a passion for it. Now, see, and I'm not just saying this because YouTuber, blah, blah, blah. Look, you don't have 1 million subscribers. I don't have to kiss your ass. You don't have to kiss my ass, right? We're two buds having a conversation, two massholes here, right?
Amen.
But what, and I hope people understand this about everything that we do. The reason I want, you say, well, Tommy, that's stupid. The guy's never produced a video game. He's never designed a video game. He's never, look, you have so much passion, right? And that's what we have all the experience in the world, but I want a guy like you who's so passionate about this. I want to bring you in the mix and say, hey, you know what? Do you like this or not? Yeah, this sucks. Oh, can we make it more like this? You don't have to be anyone who has played a video game or who hasn't played a video game can be a tester and say, hey, do you like this? Oh, the controls are too, okay, boom. This non-gamer doesn't like this because, like I'll give you an example. We did a focus group test and remember that racing game that I showed, that side swipers where the cars are hitting each other and this and that.
Yeah.
So we did a focus group test with that with non-gaming moms. Okay. We're like, because we all love it in the office and we're like, oh my God, this is so cool. This is so cool. And it's so simple because you just like speed up or slow down, right? It's like, it's easy, right? And what was interesting is we do this focus test and the moms were like, yeah, the cars are going too fast. Like it's too fast. We're like, oh, shoot. See, I'm always trying to think outside of my own gamer world. I'm always trying to think, get in somebody else's, thoughts. And that was one thing I didn't consider is like, cause again, this is a game that I helped design with the developers. And it was kind of like my whole idea was once you crash, let's put in these, let's put in the traps and this and that. Right. So, and so everyone thought, oh, wow, it's the coolest thing, but it's like, but man, we didn't take into account that a non-gamer, the cars are going around. So it's like, okay, so let's create a track, kind of an intro track, that where the cars are going slower and it's kind of almost like a tutorial. But at any time, if your mom wanted to jump in, because we're going to have like, a number of different tracks, a number of different cars and unlockables and things like that. Mm-hmm. But if your mom did want to come in and play, oh, boom, let's go back to the figure 8. And the cars are a little slower and we're all having fun. So it's those kind of things. So somebody like, and my point being is that mom didn't know anything about game design, or she just knows what she knows, right? That group of parents. So I'd say the same thing to you, Chris. I'd love to have you sit down and I want you, somebody who's so passionate to help us to create this game. Let's get your name in the credits. But to be, totally, because we have a lot of fun. We say, wouldn't that be something? Wouldn't that be something? So I can tell you this, I will go on record as saying this. I have had personal conversations with Howard Scott,
Mm-hmm.
um, and he's excited about it. He'd be willing to come out of a retirement
Oh, that'd be great. That's great.
to make the game he always wanted to make if only he had the time and money.
Uh-huh.
We've spoken to Universal because they own the ET, right? So I've been on the phone with them. They think it's a good idea. So they Spielberg obviously has a say in it, and so we're having discussions.
That's great. Oh, that's fantastic.
It would be fun, and I always said, the funny thing would be, Chris, is that um, I would have the launch party. I would have it, in New Mexico. We'd have the launch party at the burial grounds, and what I'll do is I'll get a real shaman, like a Native American shaman, to cast out the evil of the old Atari burial ET ground and bless and bring in the new ET game on this holy burial ground. That's the kind of fun stuff we want to do. And I'm going to fly you out and you're going to be there for it too.
That's kooky. Get out of here.
That'd be fun.
It would be amazingly
See,
fun.
this is the kind of stuff that we want to do. And again, people want to destroy us and they want to do this and that. It's like, really? You don't think that would be a fun thing for the industry? So it's, why don't you root for us instead of, wanting to trash us? It's senseless, isn't it?
It's needless is what it is. But I mean, neither here nor there. I mean, if you can't see things through eyes in a different light, and that's what I've been saying from the beginning. I'm not going to try to sit here and be one-sided interviewer kind of guy.
Right. Yeah.
I tell everyone who sits there and pukes all over me about it, look, you're looking at it from the perspective of today's landscape. This is a different landscape. And once you realize that, whether you like it or not, it's neither here nor there. Whether it's true or not, it's not here nor there.
Yeah. And by the way, even if it's not for you, like I'll give you an example.
Uh-huh.
I didn't buy an Xbox One. I had all the Xboxes. I had a Xbox. I had the 360. Okay. I never bought an Xbox One. I've had every PlayStation. I have a Switch, but I'm like, PlayStation 4. I'm good. Like I like Uncharted and God of War, and I like a lot of the exclusives that are on the PlayStation. So I just, what? I'm like, I don't need to buy a Switch. I'm kind of haloed out, so you don't see me crapping on, I hate Xbox, blah, 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 blah. No, you know what? It wasn't for me. And so it's like, okay, whatever. Like, I'm not going out of my way. I'm not going on Xbox fan sites and going, you guys are idiots. I don't look on Xbox YouTube and then start commenting, all you guys who like Xbox are shills. All you guys who like Xbox are stupid, and you're blah, blah, you're just fanboys. And it's like, who would do this? Who would do this kind of thing? But you know what? People are going to watch this video, and they're going to and they're going to leave hateful shit in the comments, just like they do in all your videos.
Yeah, that's all right.
And to be fair too, though, it is a handful of people. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
it's a handful of people.
Else, like
it's they're interesting to talk about. We don't dwell on it. We don't try to please them. It's interesting to talk about because it's so weird. It's so odd. You've done videos on it. This is just strange, so it's fun to talk about, but.
And it's fun to talk with them. It's like an experiment in artificial stupidity. And that's why I keep engaging with them. Normally, I would just leave them be, Tommy. 13 years working in the prison system. These guys aren't going to rattle my cage. Believe me.
Oh, wow. Well, is that 13 years in the prison?
13 years, and I had to retire because of a bad hip. What's that?
You're a guard?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I bet, off camera, I bet you have a bunch of stories I want to hear.
Tons of stories.
Oh, man. Jeffrey Epstein. Murdered.
I retired in 2008.
No, no, but in your experience as
He's
a guard,
he's high profile, and there would have been eyes all over him at all times. That's
so
all.
that was a setup. It was an absolute murder. Had to been. Okay. Anyway.
Either way, I only got really one more question here. Then you can do whatever. This comes from one of the viewers' daughters.
Okay.
She
Great.
wants to know if you're ever going to make a blue Amico.
Oh, this is I watched this video today.
Uh-huh.
What was his daughter? Yeah, his daughter was wearing the
Oh,
uh
he made a video today.
yeah, he made a video today.
Oh, I was busy with the whole. I missed it. I'm gonna have to look for it.
Yeah, him and his daughter, and he asked his daughter, he says, hey, Mr. Tellerico, give
Okay.
us a blue one. Well, here's what I can tell you. Oh gosh. Oh man. I'm such a bad secret keeper, but I so we're working on the purple one right now,
Excellent.
and we're going to be releasing renders of that probably in the next 2 or 3 weeks, I want to say, because it's going to go on. The purple one is going to go on pre-order with a retailer. So you'll be able to walk into stores and buy this or pre-order that particular one on their website. But these will be in stores. So unlike the Atari VCS that's on Walmart.com or whatever. And by the way, we love Walmart.com too. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
But what I'm saying is that, the Atari VCS right now does not have, and this could change, but as of now, they're not in stores, right? They're just being sold online. Mm-hmm. We're different. We're actually going to be sold in stores. So, but the purple one, I call it Galaxy Purple because it is like that. It's purple and kind of blue, kind of. It's like a purple iridescent.
Okay.
The purple is blue as well when you move it around. So that's my quick answer to that is you have her check out the purple one and see if she likes because it is blue as well. And in fact, if you look, there's an Xbox controller. Mm-hmm. And put in Google, oh gosh, I don't know what the hell it was called, but just put in like Xbox iridescent purple or whatever, and it's got that kind of like we're using the same exact paint as they are on that controller. So
yeah, oh, that's cool. That's very cool because I have a very specific use for one of those purple consoles. I've been waiting for it to be revealed, and I was going to talk to you privately about that. But if it's going to be retail, I probably don't have to. I probably still will share with you. But
no. In fact, after this call is over, I'll show you a picture of it.
Okay. Oh, that's great.
I mean, after you stop hitting record, me and you will have an off-camera conversation. I'll show you some other stuff as well.
Okay, yeah, and you could even do that through the cell phone if you feel more comfortable that way.
I want to show you stuff on screen.
Okay, cool. Is there anything you want to add, bud? That's all I got for you.
No. I mean, I just say to folks out there, I mean, don't judge it until you have a chance to play it.
Yeah.
That sounds fair, doesn't it?
Fair enough to me, anyhow. Oh man, was that good for you? It was definitely good for me. You know what I'm saying? But no, in all seriousness, first of all, let me apologize for the abrupt cut there. I mean, the conversation did kind of end there. I mean, he shortly there brought up a screen of his desktop to show me a few things. I'm like, dude, no, come on, I'm still recording. So I rightfully had to cut it off there. I think I asked some questions that haven't been asked before, and I did try to get to each and every one of your questions that I put down here. Avoiding the VCS ones, I have 2 of them here. I avoided them only because mid-interview, I'm like, you know what, those have been asked 100 times. But he's aware of the community posts, so hopefully he'll go over there and entertain some of your questions that I didn't get to or couldn't get to for whatever reason. But I feel like we learned a few things. I didn't ask the same questions, and that was the point of it. And another reason why there was such a delay, I wanted questions that weren't asked. Hey, what's your favorite game, and how well do you think it'll sell, and where in the market? I wanted to ask real questions. Who's going to be making the damn thing, and how are you going to be taking the money out? Is it something that we can feel comfortable with, and stuff like that? And you guys came up with some really great questions, and I was happy to ask them as well. So, guys, I want your thoughts down below. Leave feedback, thumbs up, thumbs down. All feedback to the Creep is positive, guys. And you know what? If this is something you enjoyed, maybe I'll take him up on his offer. And periodically, much like Pete of Open Every Box says, the countdown to Amico. Maybe like once a month I'll have him on. We'll just chitter chatter. Not even so much formal questions, but as more information comes out, or if there's something he wants to reveal here on my channel, that'd be fantastic. But let me know if you'd like to do that. Guys, I hope you're doing well. I really do. It's so scary out there right now still. But either way, thank you so much for taking the time to come and watch this. This was a long one. And yeah, that's it. So take care. Until next time, creep it real.